Every year, 1.2 million vehicles are sent to the scrapyard in Canada. We don't really know what happens to them. Yeah, somebody comes and takes our vehicle if it doesn't drive, or we drive it in and somebody gives us a few bucks and it just disappears. Takes away our pride and joy. This BMW is somebody's pride and joy, but certainly not any longer. But there is one business that's become very, very successful in the Hamilton area called Bodyline Auto Recyclers that has really started to lift the mystique off the industry.
Brothers Dave on the left and Jim McDonald, who own Bodyline Auto Recyclers, have come a long way from the one-car garage they sold aftermarket bumpers from 30 years ago.
You know, a little bit at a time, you just make a little bit of headway and make, gain some customers and gain some support from other trading partners and new product lines, and just slow and steady, I guess you would say.
They now have a 10-acre recycling plant in Hamilton's lower city. There's really two parts to this business. Part two is the resale of used parts at huge savings. Transmissions and related paraphernalia sell for a wallet-friendly quarter of the cost of a new one. And bought a battery lately? Over $150 is standard, but they'll sell you a used one and a year warranty for $25. But before you get the parts, they have to get the vehicles.
So how do people, how do they get here initially to get rid of their vehicle?
Usually it's through an advertisement, usually a phone call, gets things started.
So this is the office. This is where people show up, whether they've called ahead or just decided they want to get rid of the car and they've driven down here. What happens when you walk in the door? This is kind of a nice little office spot. You got lots of guys here. Tile floor, no dogs, not the stuff that we kind of expect to see. So what happens when they land here in front of Bill?
Basically, they just come in and tell Bill they're here to scrap their car and that they've talked to someone on the phone and have a price already in mind, and Bill will walk them through the process.
Meanwhile, outside, as Dave is counting out the cash, your former pride and joy is getting its send-off to the afterlife. We will follow this car through the whole recycling process, and interesting to note, 90% or more of this vehicle will live on. Stories of what happens coming up in the next weeks.